Did I not tell you that it would come to this? Did I not know well they desire to do as they have done? I knew they could not suffer me to live. Blessed be that it has now come, and fear, uncertainty, and my suffering are at an end. Weep not, nor lament, my friends, but rather rejoice that you see me so near the end of my long troubles and afflictions. I was to die for attempting the life of my fellow Queen Elizabeth, a crime of which you know I am innocent. But now my gaoler, Lord Shrewsbury, lets slip that it is because of my faith, it being at odds with theirs. O glorious thought, that I should be chosen to die for such a cause! But come now, my tardiness and procrastination now nip at my heels. My time here is short, and I must put my affairs in order. I have coin to bequeath, and yet to find a home for my earthly goods, letters to write, and why have I not written my will? I really must be more organised in future. I should invite slumber, though I fear it may be an unwilling bedfellow. But what hour is it? Cockcrow. 6. Why, there are yet but 2 hours left. Oh, still so much to do. Oh. These past 44 years have been a life of diverse fortunes. I have oft mused if my short life will warrant an entry in the pages of history. Will people think kindly of Mary Stuart? Aye, it is true. I have stood tall and fallen far because Tudor and Stuart blood coursed through these veins. Once I was the most sought-after child bride in the whole of Christendom. The Tudor king, mine own great uncle, Henry VIII of England, would have had me wed his sickly heir, Edward. How different would my life have been? My English would have been better, arguably. But at what cost to my birthright and Scotland? Indeed, all of Catholic Europe considered me a precious jewel and sought my infant hand. Not to be outdone, my uncle Henry tried to rip me from my mother's bosom, and me not yet 3 summers old. We were forced to leave Stirling, hidden away on Inchmahome Priory on the island of Monteith Lake. And it would be 14 years before I was to set eyes once more on those sturdy castle walls at Stirling. But when I returned, I was every inch a queen. My uncle, furious to be refused his desire to combine our nations, sent his armies north. The brave Scots fought hard, but much blood was spilled. I was just 5 years old when my mother, Mary de Guise, terrified for my safety, sent me from Henry VIII's clutches to be raised a French princess alongside the children of King Henri II and Queen Catherine de Medici. She had long favoured a French match for me, and so I was married to their son and heir, the Dauphin Francois, at 15, and looked set to be Queen of both France and Scotland. Alas, he was not to be the French king, nor I their queen. Within 2 years he took ill with a simple pain in his ear, yet the bad humours inside his head took him. Mourning my dear husband, I was denied any comfort from my French family and made to feel an unwelcome complication to my mother-in-law and her plans for the French monarchy. In truth, she had always resented me. My dear father-in-law, King Henri, had loved and indulged me. He once said I was the most perfect child he had ever seen. But now, with no role for me at the French court, I looked to my birthright and Scotland. Adieu France, adieu France, adieu donc. Ma chère France, je pense ne vous revoir jamais pas. Goodbye, France, goodbye, France, goodbye, my dear. I think I will never see you again. and I never did. Yet it was a glorious progress that autumn day in 1561. The people welcomed me with open hearts, cheers and blessings. I was bursting with pride, finally fulfilling my destiny, Mary Queen of the Scots. Ruling my kingdom was not without its challenges, I grant you. I had not thought Scotland to be at odds with the one true faith. Despite our differing beliefs, I won over the doubting Scottish lairds with my pretty smile and charm. And to maintain the status quo, I thought it prudent to observe my faith in secret, behind closed doors. There was also the small matter of diverse language. I fluent in French, Latin, Spanish and Italian, they fluent in Scottish. Why, I was but 5 years old when I had last spoken in that tongue, and my new court was a world away from that of the French. Those feuding lairds had not the sophistication nor the opulence I had grown accustomed to. No poetry, no music, no dance. Instead, politics and the small matter of running a nation, all beyond me. In truth, dear friends, I arrived unworldly and unprepared, a spoilt and rather indulged French princess. My half-brother, James Stuart, Earl of Moray, guided me, and soon I had won the loyalty of those hardened sceptics, the Lairds. And with their acceptance, my subjects were happy, and all loved me. I made the cold, draughty Stirling Castle my home, though it almost did for me one evening. The candle flame fanned my drapes whilst abed. God's eye was upon me that night. And it was here that I thought I had found true love. Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, had once ignited such passion in me. Oh, I had loved my Francois unconditionally and from 5 years old, but as a brother, never a lover. I first encountered Henry Stuart in France shortly after my husband's death. Why, I was unprepared for the feelings he awoke in me, making my cheeks burn and my heart race. Surely not how a widow should feel. And now, there he was again, standing in front of me in all his lusty perfectness. Oh, I was smitten. My brother was set against the match, having already dismissed her cast-off, Dudley. My cousin Elizabeth wasn't impressed. In fact, she was livid. But was I going to take marriage counsel from the Virgin Queen? Nay, I would not be dissuaded. I meant to make that beautiful man mine. Oh, I loved him with my very being, and so in 1565 we married. Oh, such passion, like nothing I have ever experienced, nor could have imagined. It was no surprise that very quickly I was with child. We made the most handsome couple. All admired him, and he liked the attention. In fact, he began to like it rather more than he liked me. Clearly the honeymoon was quickly over for him, suddenly so cruel, flying into a rage over small matters and then making grand exits, leaving me as if I had displeased him. Well, I became confused, hurt and lonely. He'd taunt me and forget who was monarch. Sometimes handle me roughly, from which I would bear the marks. Court whispered, rather loudly, of his fondness for Edinburgh stews and boarding houses. Let me tell you, there were more than 3 in that marriage. He was petulant, vain and jealous. I, pregnant with this child, less than a year wed, yet abandoned. Ugly, and alone.